Tonight is AEW Blood and Guts, and we're going to talk about a potentially massive match that was canceled. What could have been? It's coming up in today's video. I want to kick things off with our WWE news, and more specifically, let's talk about Scripps. You guys remember Scripps? Well, it was Reggie under a mask, and a lot of people didn't care for the mask. A lot of people didn't care for the attire, which is really unfortunate because Reggie is actually a very good wrestler. Like, he's very impressive in the ring. But the thing is, he just didn't really have a character that connected with people. And then yesterday on NXT, he was tag teaming with Axiom. And, he turned on Axiom. So this is super interesting because he takes to Twitter and puts out a tweet. He says he's no more the 24/7 guy. No more Reggie. No more being disrespected by people that take me for granted. No more Mr. Damn Nice Guy. I'm going back to my roots. What does this mean? It looks like WWE might be doing a character change yet again for Reggie or Scripps. And the reality is, for as good as he is in the ring, I feel like WWE is somewhat directionless with Scripps. And it's kind of unfortunate because I think one of the big things about WWE and one of the things about wrestling, at least the way I view wrestling, is you need to have characters and personas that people can get invested in. And pretty much everything that they've done with Scripps just hasn't been working. At least for me. On a personal preference, it hasn't been working for me. I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just not something that I necessarily enjoy. And if you enjoy it, that's completely fine. But I'm really curious to see what type of gimmick change WWE goes with this, because quite honestly, I feel like it could be at the point where people just don't care anymore. And I feel like that's one of the things I've noticed with wrestling is if guys are constantly changing their gimmick and nothing seems to be working, people end up becoming less invested in that character or in that storyline. So it's going to be really interesting to follow through with this and see what happens. I'll keep you guys updated if they do anything cool. But it's just something to definitely keep in mind. WWE might be changing the gimmick here. Guys, I want to talk to you a little bit about a WWE superstar who was backstage. Well, former WWE superstar. We're talking about Matt Cardona. He was backstage for WWE Raw. We saw Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville win the Women's Tag Team Championship belts. Keep in mind, WWE also did a red carpet premiere event for Cody Rhodes' new documentary, which, by the way, it looks absolutely incredible. WWE appears to have mentioned AEW and being the elite and so many other things in this documentary. Now, obviously, Matt Cardona is the husband of Chelsea Green. He's also a longtime friend of Cody Rhodes. So the idea that he's been backstage and involved with WWE this past week is not necessarily shocking. Several months ago, there was rumors that Matt Cardona had signed with the WWE, but then nothing really ever came to fruition. Probably no substance to those rumors because he has been absolutely killing it as the indie god. He's working with Persia Parada from NXT, who was part of NXT, Stephanie DeLander. And basically, he's been killing it in that role. We know that he's also going to be debuting for MLW in the near future. But you have to wonder if WWE is going to do something with him, right? Like if WWE is going to bring him in. I know he's been talking about, hey, he's willing to have that call with WWE. He's willing to have that call with AEW. With him being backstage, obviously just supporting his wife, that makes a lot of sense. But just looking at this guy and seeing how much he has benefited from leaving WWE, it's pretty damn impressive. And I know he says it before. He said it before. He goes, WWE was my developmental. And the funny thing is, like, I think a lot of people look at that as him taking a shot at WWE. But when you look at Matt Cardona, and more specifically what he's done post WWE, that's really what you want to see from a guy who leaves the company. If I'm Vince McMahon, if I'm Triple H, I'm looking at Zack Ryder, right? Go from Zack Ryder to becoming something so special on the indie scene. This guy draws. This guy has become a very big deal on the indie scene, and he's doing very well for himself. And we shouldn't be shocked, right? Look at how he got himself over to begin with in the WWE. He was very good with social media, and that's really the thing that opened the door for WWE to become more socially active on the internet. So Matt Cardona being backstage, I would love to see him come back in the company. I look at him as somebody just like Cody, man. Like, you can bring him back and do some really big things. I just don't know if that's something that Vince McMahon would like. Triple H, on the other hand, I feel like would be totally down for it. But I'm just making my own assumptions based on my own outside opinion. But yeah, he was backstage. Will this lead to anything? We'll see. Obviously, I would be very happy if he were to join WWE again. But don't get it twisted. Just because he's backstage doesn't mean he's back in WWE. Guys, Logan Paul talking on Impulsive about some scrapped plans. Love this. So obviously he's talking about WWE SummerSlam. We all seen in the past month or so, Logan Paul getting in the mix with Ricochet. We seen Logan Paul even get verbally abused by LA Knight, and it actually turned out that LA Knight was considered for a SummerSlam match against Logan Paul. And I love LA Knight. I think he's an incredible talent, and as you guys know, I made my videos, I've made my tweets about why LA Knight working with Logan Paul would be a really, really good idea. And I have zero issue with them canceling this plan because realistically, LA Knight is a good wrestler, but he is a larger than life persona. Logan Paul is a very, very good athlete. And basically the idea is that WWE chose Ricochet over LA Knight for that reason. And you're going to put two very athletic people. You have to wonder what WWE has in store for Logan Paul at SummerSlam with Ricochet. And look, man, you give him 15, 20 minutes. This is going to be Ricochet's match of the year. It's going to be Ricochet's match of his entire career in WWE. And truth be told, I know a lot of people are going to be really crazy to hear this. Like, they're going to call me crazy. But when you look back at that Cody Rhodes interview with Logan Paul, Cody Rhodes referenced Will Ospreay and Ricochet and basically told Logan Paul a long time ago, like, that is something you got to watch. And I almost guarantee that Logan Paul and Ricochet are going to try to recreate that magic. Now, I am not saying Logan Paul is on the level of Will Ospreay, but Logan Paul is pretty damn good. And by mixing it up with Ricochet, I feel like they're going to work together to make some magic in this match. And who knows, maybe, I don't know what my expectations are, but maybe this is what WWE needs for Ricochet, right? My only fear is that they have Logan Paul beat Ricochet. And I just feel like Ricochet is so good, man. And he's done a really good job this year. And WWE has given him a lot to work with. And I would just like to see them kind of elevate him a little bit more. It would be really cool if they had Ricochet beat Logan Paul. But Logan Paul is having a losing streak right now. I imagine that they would want to change that. But we'll see. We'll see where they go with it. Guys, WWE has done a lot of great things this year. So has AEW. But one thing AEW has not done is brought Mercedes money into the company. And it seems like that very well could have been the case. Keep in mind, there's been rumors for a long time that Tony Khan was going to be bringing in Mercedes money. Obviously, we know about her injury that she obtained through her match with Willow Nightingale, which is just really a freak accident. It's unfortunate. It's sad. Especially, if you guys watch this channel, I always talk about, health before wealth. So it always sucks when you see a wrestler, especially somebody of that caliber who is like right there gaining the momentum. It sucks to see that happen. And Tony Khan was talking about this on the media call. Basically, like Jamie Hayter, for example, being injured. He just kind of talked about why there isn't a blood and guts match for the women this time. And one of the big things was like injuries that were bad. And then obviously they had the Owen Hart Cup tournament. He was really trying to put over all of these matches as hard hitting as a reason to justify why it didn't happen. But the thing is, AEW canceled the major plans for blood and guts. The reality is they canceled any sort of plan for women blood and guts. Okay. And I get why that might have been the case, but you just have to wonder if Mercedes money was supposed to be here tonight in the event of the match, because we knew at some point the plan was to have Mercedes and Saraya at some point. And look, with blood and guts, you could have had the heels, the outsiders, the outcasts. You could have had them. You could have had them just smoke all the baby faces, and then Mercedes could have made the big save, big pop, and then that would have set up Mercedes and Soraya, and then eventually Jamie Hayter. I mean, look, they could have done so much with this. It's so absolutely insane, but it's not happening. Injuries suck. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section down below.